Hello everyone! That was a really intense walk this morning. More than a walk, it was a hike. It was more than 2 hours going up and down a hill, and we went back to Mount Kuta. That's a beautiful sort of nature hiking range near Brisbane, very popular with about 40 different hiking trails, so an amazing spot if you are living in Australia and Queensland, and more specifically in Brisbane. Which actually brings me to the topic of this video. Since I am considering and thinking about leaving Australia next year, I thought I would make a few videos about things that you can expect in Australia. And today's topic is 15 things that you will find surprising about Australia and Australians. So let's get to it. First of all, Australians are really friendly, very easy to talk to. You can literally chat up a person on a bus stop, on a train station, in a shop, anywhere. You can have a chat and conversation with strangers anywhere, and they will just smile at you and have a chat back. I remember when I was still living in Poland, that was completely not the case. You know, if you were to start a conversation with a stranger on a bus stop or anywhere else, like, they would look at you like there's something wrong with you. They would kind of look around to see where your carer from the psychiatric institution is. But here in Australia, you can just talk to people and make friends and start conversations and just have a laugh with people so easily, because Australians are very open to that. Let's talk about Australian attire. Because it is very casual. In many places, beach attire, if you're near, sort of like in a relative proximity to the beach, people will just walk around in bikinis or shorts, you know, and sarongs, you know, for the ladies. Thongs are the shoes of choice, obviously, for anybody. Everywhere you look, you'll see very casual attire, because that's the priority here, being comfortable and coping with the heat for the majority of the year. The only times when Australians dress up is for their corporate jobs. So if they work in an office, particularly people like lawyers, real estate agents, property developers, you know, accountants, this kind of jobs, when they are on the job, when they are actually working, they will dress up and wear a shirt, suit, you know, etc. But even all these people, when they are done with work, when they leave the office, they go back to the very casual t-shirts, shorts, you know, and etc. And again, I can sort of compare it to Poland, where Polish people do dress up for at least certain occasions, like, you know, church or exams, you know, and like there are sort of more elegant, I guess, occasions where Polish people would dress up. So when I first arrived here and I was still going to uni and I was doing my my degree, like the very first exam that I was sitting, I rocked up in a white shirt and, you know, dressed up. I was the only one. That was also the last exam that I dressed up for. Which brings me to shoes, or more appropriately to the lack of shoes. Quite often you see Aussies walking around barefoot on the streets, in a supermarket, just pretty much anywhere. Not majority will wear thongs or flip-flops, but there'll be always some percentage just walking around barefoot, which again is unthinkable in different parts of the world, including Poland. If you stay in Australia a little bit longer, you probably will also see people in their PJs, in their dressing gowns and in their slippers, particularly when they're bringing out their bins in the morning for the weekly bin collection. The majority of people will do that in their pajamas and slippers. But Aussies will also go to the shops in their pajamas from time to time. Like, that will happen. Obviously not all the time either, but it happens. And so don't get too shocked by that. I have actually done it once, because I felt like I was maybe sort of missing out on the fullness of Australian experience if I never went to the shops dressed other than in my PJs. So I have done it once, felt very proud of myself. I was a little bit stressed, but nothing happened. Nobody blinked an eye. It was completely normal and nobody said anything. And I guess this really sets Australians apart from other nations, like, for example, Italy, where I recently learned that in Italy you're not even supposed to leave your house with wet hair. And I'm assuming it's because, you know, like your hair, your hairstyle, your hairdo is part of your appearance. So the way that you look after your clothes and put them together in some kind of nice elegant or stylish or whatever way, your hair is a part of that. So if you were to walk out of the house with wet hair, it would just mean that you haven't finished getting ready. Here, wet hair, pajamas, barefoot, it's all normal and allowed. Australians really love their sports. This is almost like a religion here. All Aussies have their favorite teams, and they go to the games and watch the games either in live or on TV. They support their favorite teams. They often have, wear the colors of their favorite teams, either scarves or caps. And Australian athletes are celebrities here, and everybody knows the big names for each team. I recently had a conversation about this Australian cricketer who doesn't play anymore, but who recently passed at the age of 52, I think. And when his name was mentioned, everybody just started nodding knowingly. Yes, everybody knows him. I was the only one going, well, who is this person? As a general rule, Australians are also very health conscious, and really work on their appearance and their fitness, etc. Near all the beaches, you will see all of these surfers, men and girls, guys and girls, looking really great, with shaped and sculpted bodies and a lot of like nice dark suntan, etc. Showing off their bodies and their surfboards. But even outside of that sort of surfing population, a lot of Aussies work out and exercise on a regular basis. Every single morning in all parks and all esplanades, you will see people running, jogging, exercising. People go to gyms, yoga studios are very, very popular. So there is that kind of culture here of being fit and healthy. On the other hand, there's also a big part of the population that really just loves their barbecues and beer and partying, to eat steaks and sausages and to just drink and be merry. So I guess this is a bit of a scale where on one end of the scale you have these ultra fit, really, really healthy people, and then on the other hand you've got this kind of more of a beer belly kind of Aussies, and most of the people are somewhere on that scale, with usually a typical Aussie loving their barbecuing their food, but also doing some form of exercise to stay healthy and fit. Ocean, oh my god. I guess after 13 years in Australia, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around just how much the ocean means to the Australians and how much it is a part of their lives. So many people I know just love oceans so much, and they just want to get into it as often as they possibly can. Some people are literally in the ocean every single day of the year because they crave that, they need that, they have such kind of affinity and closeness when it comes to the ocean, which you can kind of understand because such a huge majority of Aussies grow up near the water. Aussies also really, really love their nature and their animals, to the point where I was surprised by that, because in Europe, or what I experienced of Europe, nature and animals are sort of a bit removed from our lives. They are out there somewhere, like we see them in zoos and we're aware that they are there somewhere, but so many people live in cities that we don't encounter animals on a daily basis other than maybe the dogs and cats and some pigeons. Here it's different. Like, you go for a walk in nature and you will come across kangaroos and koala bears. If you go for a walk in the evening, you will see possums, which are really, really cute here, unlike the Canadian possums, which are not so cute. And because of that closeness to nature, because it's literally just out there in our backyards, Aussies really care for nature. And it's very common to be recycling and composting and donating to animal charities and just supporting the nature, the environment, and the animals in any way that they can. And as a general rule, Aussies do not kill anything. No bugs, no insects, no snakes. There's such a culture of just remove everything. We remove those creatures out of your home and put them out in nature, back in nature safely. So this is not to say that Aussies will never ever kill a spider or an insect, but for the majority of people the default is to capture, trap, any of those little creatures and to put them safely outside. Which brings me to the very interesting topic of the deadly animals in Australia, because this is such an interesting country in a way that we literally live with creatures that can kill us. You know, they are in our backyard and they are in our homes. There are spiders that are venomous enough to kill you, and there are snakes around that are venomous enough to kill you. The good thing about them is that they don't prey on people, so they don't go after us, they don't go after humans, which is why it's extremely rare that you would hear of somebody actually being bitten by a snake or a spider, which is lucky because some of those animals can actually, their venom can kill you within 2 hours. So it's not a lot of time to be rescued. Back when I was living in Melbourne, in one of my places in Melbourne, I actually had 2 funnel web spiders, one in my laundry and the other one on the deck in my backyard. Fortunately, I wasn't actually aware just how dangerous these spiders are. I would just go out there and do my laundry and say hi and wave to one of them. And you know, they would just make their webs and just sit there. Like, they were just there. They weren't trying to get to me in any way. If anything, they would run away from me. You know, same with the snakes. Any Australian will tell you that if you see a snake around anywhere on your path, all you need to do is just, well, basically turn around and walk away. That's probably the safest thing to do. But another thing to do is to really kind of stomp heavily on the path to let the snake know that you're near, because it will avoid you. It will like turn away and it will get away from you. And it really makes me laugh how Australians divide these creatures and these animals into 2 categories. These that can kill you, so beware, and the rest of them, so basically don't worry about them. And I don't know how many times I heard the phrase, don't worry, it won't kill you. It's such and such spider, oh, don't worry, it won't kill you. Don't worry. You know, it can bite you and it will hurt like hell, and you might vomit and you might hallucinate. It might leave a mark on your skin for a very long time, but it's okay. It won't kill you. Oh, there's a snake there. Ooh, oh, what is it? Oh, it's a python. Oh, don't worry, it's a python. It's fine, it's a python. To me, it's like, it's a snake. Like, run. To Aussies, it's like, oh, it's a python. Don't worry, it won't kill you. Don't worry. Let's talk about water in Australia, because it is a bit of a scarce resource, particularly during dry summers. What I've encountered is that the council will at different times create restrictions as to which stage of water restrictions we're in, which basically means that you are not allowed to do certain things. So depending on the stage of water restrictions, you might not be able to wash your car or water your backyard, things like that. So you obviously still can use, you know, take showers and use water for consumption or to give it to your animals, but this is something to be aware of when you live here, that it is not an abundant resource, which I learned very quickly, because when I first arrived here 13 years ago in 2009, I was first living in Melbourne and I was working in an office. So I went to the kitchen in the office to wash my apple, and I had just arrived from Ireland. So I had, prior to that, I spent over 4 years in Ireland, which is a very water abundant country. So here I am in the kitchen, turning the tap on, preparing my apple. As I was doing that, another girl walked in and she yelled at me to turn the tap off, because it just seemed wasteful to her the way I was washing my apple. So, you know, I was shocked and surprised because I had no idea about any of that. So that was like a quick lesson to me about saving water. Having said that, tap water in Australia is clean enough and it's safe for consumption, so you can drink it safely. You will also get tap water in pretty much any restaurants or cafes. Like, you know, you might need to ask for it. Could we get a bottle of tap water? So that's free. You'll get free tap water for the table with, you know, some glasses, or they will literally just bring it to you by default. As soon as you sit down, somebody will come over with the menu and a bottle of tap water and some glasses. You can obviously order mineral water or sparkling water, and that will cost you, but there's always that choice there. And speaking of restaurants and cafes, the food here, oh my god, it's a paradise. If you're a foodie, if you like different cuisines, Australia is a paradise. Not so much because of Australian food, because that's, I don't even know that is steak and, I don't know, steak and potatoes. Maybe something kind of similar to the British cuisine, because that's originally how the white Australia started, with the convicts coming over from Britain. But the thing about the Australian population is that 25% of Australians, of people living in Australia, were not born in Australia. 25%, that's millions of people that have arrived from other countries and brought their, you know, traditions and ways of life and their cuisine. And many of them set up restaurants. So here you'll see a variety of restaurants from, you know, Indian, Thai, Chinese, Mexican, Japanese, Italian, Greek. I've seen some Polish restaurants, you know. If you would you like to go to a Nepalese restaurant, you'll find that too. I've been to a Nepalese restaurant, you know, Hungarian, like everything. You'll find everything here, and for the most part run by these people that actually came from these different countries, bring their own sort of, you know, traditional cuisines and recipes, etc. When it comes to bureaucracy, things are really easy and again very friendly. You get very friendly service in all the offices, in all the places wherever you need to organize something. Most of the things you just organize online. You know, you can sign documents online, you know, scan and send documents through email, you know, or provide an electric signature. So it's just so easy to, you know, to organize these things. And here your ID is basically your driver license. And I arrived with my Irish license, so I was able just to swap it for the Australian one very easily. No exams, no hassle, no bureaucracy. I just turned up, I just rocked up at the transport office. I handed in my Irish license and they gave me an Australian license. So it was just that simple, that easy. There might have been some small fee for that, but I can't really remember. And you don't even have to worry for the most part about like collecting all sorts of different documents the way that you do in many European countries, because here they just find you on the system and everything is just so easy to organize. And one last observation for this video is got to do with driving actually, because here if you're unlucky enough to not have a garage, which many people don't or they don't use it, and if you keep your car outside, then in summer, which is most of the year, your car will get very, very hot, which means that when you're getting into it, it will, in many cases, feel like an oven. It'll be hard to even touch the steering wheel at times, you know, so you'll be kind of trying to like drive without touching the steering wheel, like touch it with 2 fingers. Or if you have leather seats, you might burn your ass and your thighs if you're wearing a shorts or a short skirt. I've burned my ass enough times to remember to always put a towel on my seats if my car is sitting outside. Otherwise, you're risking an unpleasant surprise as you're getting into your car. So this is it for the day. My 15 things that might surprise you if you decide to come to Australia, to move to Australia. Let me know if there's anything that you would specifically like to know. Like, what are you curious about when it comes to living in Australia? I've been here for 13 years now, and I am not a foreigner anymore, but I did arrive here as a foreigner. I did get my citizenship and my passport, so I am an Australian now as well. But yeah, I do have all those insights and all the information and observations from being here for 13 years and from coming here and looking at Australia with fresh eyes 13 years ago. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and please leave me a comment. I always respond to comments personally, and I absolutely love to have chats with you, with all of you in the comment section below. If you enjoy my content, I actually have 2 channels on YouTube, one with sex education and this vlogging channel where we talk about all sorts of different interesting topics. If you enjoy my videos and my content, please consider buying me a coffee through Patreon. You will find the link to Patreon in the description below. And I hope that you had as much fun watching this video as I had making it. I hope that it helps you and serves you and that it answers your questions. And I really look forward to hearing what you have to say. Mwah. Bye!